Hello and welcome to the Election Corner on One Man Think Tank. Today I want to talk to you briefly about the $2,000 stimulus check kerfuffle that's going on. Now, for those of you who don't know, the COVID relief bill was passed with, I believe, a veto-proof majority through the House and the Senate 2 days ago. This bill had many features. It's your generic omnibus bill of various policies that could get passed, but everyone wants to kind of pretend, but they might not get full support or might get filibustered on their own, so they chuck them all into one big bill and force it through. The key point of this bill was it's supposed to come with COVID relief, with plenty of bonuses for transit agencies and businesses, no money for state and local governments, which is a big loss for the Democrats on that account, because that was one of their big pushing points. But for the average American, remember how we got those nice $1,200 stimulus checks? Well, now we're getting $600, half the amount in the original bill, when for a while there was talk of at the very least doing at least 2 rounds of $1,200 again. Now there's barely anything. Clearly a basic political move in attempt to win Georgia. Now, all seemed to be going through. Trump was set to sign it. Until yesterday, Donald Trump announces he's not going to sign the bill. He says he doesn't want to put $600 checks in there, he wants $2,000 checks for every American. Now you might be thinking, oh, Trump cares about the average American. No, he doesn't. He's doing this despite one man, Mitch McConnell, who, because of how Mitch McConnell functions, he is the most blatantly politically motivated person on the planet. Like, you know, if Trump's doing something, it's to personally enrich him or to heal his ego in some way. Mitch McConnell's doing it for blatant political gain. He was supporting, we need to do the recounts, all that jazz. The election might have been stolen. And then the second that it's actually verified, he goes, oh, well, yeah, of course, Biden won. Biden's president-elect. Because he is, for lack of a better term, two-faced. Except you'd need more faces on that whole hydra there. But in one of the strangest occurrences, and ways to hopefully cap out 2020, Donald Trump might have called Mitch McConnell's bluff by calling him out on these 2K stimulus checks. You see, Mitch McConnell's whole political strategy is, we're not going to talk about it. That's it. If there's a bill the House passes that's very popular, he doesn't bring it up for a vote, because even if the GOP would vote it down, because he doesn't want the publicity of having voted the bill down. So he just sits on it. That's why he's been known that's why you see all these bills are wallowing in the Senate, not being voted down, wallowing, waiting, taken off the table, sidelined, whatever. Not killed, not dead, not anything like that. Mitch McConnell just refuses to bring them up. And this is a strategy that has already blown up in his face one time with something called the First Step Act. You've probably heard about it. It was passed in the twilight of the, I believe, the 2017-2018 Congress. A very popular criminal justice reform bill, very basic, but did the bare minimum needed to begin the process of decarceration and overall defunding the police, as well as ending the war on drugs. And it took a while. It was a bill by Cory Booker. You might remember him from the presidential campaign. And Mitch McConnell refused to bring it up for a vote. Until the very last minute, when it was rumored GOP money interests, namely the Koch brothers, said they were going to pull funds out if Mitch McConnell didn't bring the bill up for a vote. And of course, he brought it up and it passed. This is Mitch McConnell's weakness, and Trump's doing it right now. Mitch McConnell relies on not talking about it. He's not a strategic genius. Everyone talks about it like he's some kind of Machiavellian, clever game player, chess master who's moving all the pieces. No, it's literally the same strategy. Call as many recesses as possible, put through judges, and don't do anything else. Don't do anything else. That's it. The problem is, when you don't vote on a bill, it's still there. And if you are called out on your bullshit, let's say you pass a half-assed stimulus check, and let's say the president, who right now is a Republican, but let's say it turns into a Democrat in, June 20th. All that takes is, I will veto your bill unless you add these things in. And if it's a must-pass bill, it's really hard to blame it on the president when it's something so obviously for the American people. No one's going to go, you're charging me for good old Mitch, he's trying to keep me from $1,400. Like, even the GOP is annoyed by this current check situation for the most part, but it was only $600 because that was what was deemed by some consultant somewhere as the bare minimum to get the number of votes they needed for Georgia. Now they're forced to make a call. Donald Trump has said he wants $2,000. Democrats are trying to call his bluff by having a session tomorrow to add $2,000 checks to the bill. If Mitch McConnell does his normal tactic of, well, we're not doing anything, your average American is going to know the Republican Senate kept them from $2,000. Technically $1,400, but you catch my drift. This is why Mitch McConnell is not a clever politician. And don't ever let anyone try and tell you otherwise. He's not clever, he's not good at his job, and most importantly, this will be a big problem for him, especially once COVID's gone. Because once COVID's gone, with a Democratic House and a Democratic president, he is the only thing that's going to keep many bills, like a $15 minimum wage, automatic voter registration, universal vote by mail, independent redistricting commissions, a public option, from being passed into law, despite the fact that there is a majority of people in the Senate who would pass those bills. And all it would take is some pressure, and then instead of shutting down the bill when he has a chance and getting some bad publicity in the short term, he's going to ignore it, pretend like it's not there, and then possibly be forced to pass it. Which is great if you're not for Mitch McConnell, but really bad if you are with him. So with all that being said, if you like the video, drop a like down below and also leave a comment. If you want to hear more from the channel, click the subscribe button and the notification bell. Be alerted when new content is released. And if you want to hear more from me outside of YouTube, I do have a Twitter at OneManThinkTan1, the Roman numeral, link in the description below. Twitter is a tad sparse at the moment, but I'm gonna try and remember to keep updating that periodically. And, as always, and most importantly, have a wonderful day.